America's heartland. This is GJRB.
And hello everyone, hello everywhere across America. Welcome to the Gary Russen program here on GJRB online on Spreaker. We got a great program lined up. Stay tuned. We'll be talking a lot about some interesting stuff. Bernie Sanders is in the news and a whole lot more other things going on. So stay with me. The Gary Russen program starts right after the news. It is now 2 o'clock Central Time. GJRB News. I'm Gary J. Russen, and top in our news this afternoon comes out of this story. This big story that just broke before our airtime. A Dearborn, Michigan man was arrested for aiding a terrorist group.
We're following breaking development. An FBI raid in Dearborn. Terror charges announced against the Dearborn man accused of aiding a terror group and receiving training in explosives.
7 investigator Ross Jones is live outside that home. Ross, what have you learned?
Heather, Stephen, good afternoon. There was no answer at the Dearborn home behind me, but the man who may have lived here is now in FBI custody, accused of aiding one of the most dangerous terrorist groups in the world. 37-year-old Samar El-Debek is said to have been on Hezbollah's payroll for the better part of 10 years. His arrest was announced today, 1 week after FBI agents raided this Dearborn home, which is connected to today's announcement. The FBI describes El-Debek as an expert in bomb making, saying he had a high degree of technical sophistication when it comes to explosives, receiving training in the use of rocket-propelled grenade launchers. El-Debek is also said to have been sent on missions by Hezbollah, including to Panama, where he traveled to locate U.S. and Israeli embassies and to assess the vulnerabilities of the Panama Canal and ships in the canal. Shortly before his trip to Panama, El-Debek is said to have written on Facebook, "Do not make peace or share food with those who killed your people." In a separate case also disclosed today, the Department of Justice announced the arrest of a New York man, saying he was conducting surveillance of potential targets, including law enforcement and military facilities.
And that is what's going on in that news. And in the stock market, the Dow is down 59 points, 48 points in the NASDAQ, 6 in the S&P. This is GJRB News. Suicide's increasing in the community. They're playing suicide games. This has to stop. Parents, watch your kids, and if you feel there's something going on and they are considering suicide, please talk to them, help them. And if it seems hopeless, call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. That number is 1-800-273-8255. They can help. It's free and confidential. Your call will be answered by a trained counselor in a local crisis center. The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline can help. End times are upon us, and we need to know what's happening. Knowing the truth is key to survival. There are lots of news events going on in the world that have certain significance to end time happenings. Listen, as men and women gather to discuss the news and how it lines up with Bible prophecy on the last 7 days. Uploaded as a podcast Wednesdays and run live every third Friday at 12 o'clock noon Central on GJRB. In other news this afternoon, Bernie Sanders is in the news again, and this time he's saying that he's knocking a lot of religious groups, including the rally Christianity, saying that Christians are hateful. And a report, here's this report now on more on this story.
Christianity was in the hot seat on Capitol Hill this week as Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders blasted nominee Russell Vought over his writings concerning Islam.
Do you believe that that statement is Islamophobic?
Vought, the president's pick for deputy director of the Office of Management and Budget, sparred with the former Democratic presidential candidate over an online article he wrote defending the Christian school Wheaton College for firing a political science professor who said Muslims and Christians worship the same God. Sanders focused on this sentence: Muslims do not simply have a deficient theology. They do not know God because they have rejected Jesus Christ, his son, and they stand condemned.
Are you suggesting that all of those people stand condemned? What about Jews? They stand condemned too?
Senator, I'm a Christian.
I understand you are a Christian, but this country is made up of people who are not just. I understand that Christianity is the majority religion, but there are other people who have different religions in this country and around the world. In your judgment, do you think that people who are not Christians are going to be condemned?
Thank you for probing on that question. As a Christian, I believe that all individuals are made in the image of God and are worthy of dignity and respect regardless of their religious beliefs.
Muslim groups and the ACLU have sided with Sanders. Critics have cited Article 6 of the Constitution, which says there should be no religious test to hold political office, and accusing Sanders of doing just that. Conservative and evangelical Christians like Baptist pastor Robert Jeffress are outraged.
What Sanders said is a slap in the face, an insult to millions of evangelical Christians who believe that Jesus Christ is the only way to heaven. This is not some peripheral belief of Christians. It is the foundation of our faith.
It will be a few weeks before the Senate decides on votes confirmation. Brett?
Lauren, thank you.
And Bernie Sanders saying this, that Christians are, quote, deplorable in their judgment of other religions. Next news at the bottom of the hour when news breaks. Bottom of the top of the clock, keeping you on top. GJRB Online, GJRB News. Gary Russen, GJRB News.
Seems today no broadcast can survive with just audio alone. GJRB on Spreaker will always be there, but now GJRB has gone visual with the GJRB YouTube channel. Subscribe today and see live streaming of the Gary Russen program, Way Out There, Sports Page, and radio and television classics. Also, many other specials along the way too, including a video version of News and Comment and a video message from Pastor Ron Johnston from Christian Community Fellowship Church. Yes, GJRB is now visual. Subscribe to the GJRB YouTube channel. It's free. Just log on to YouTube and type in Gary Russen in the search engine. Coming soon. Watch or listen to GJRB on the new GJRB website, GJRB TV, on YouTube, on your computer, on your TV. Subscribe today.
Next news at the bottom of the hour. Give Christians praise. You're covered and informed.
Now it's time for the Gary Russen program, discussing what's in the news, sports, and other things happening in the world. And now, you can talk to Gary live at area code 563-613-4260. In a sea of lies and deception, this is the beacon of truth on internet radio. This is the Gary Russen program on GJRB.
And hello everyone, hello everywhere across America and around the world. Welcome to the Gary Russen program on GJRB Online here on Spreaker across America. We've been off the air for a while. Yeah, we've been. Well, this program has been on and off the air from time to time for a long period of time. And sometimes it's only good reasons because sometimes I have a tendency to I have a lot of programs on the air on this radio station. So what happens is some programs fall to the wayside because I work too hard on some other ones and I neglect the other ones. So this program, actually, the Gary Russen program, has been off the air since our last show was a month ago today. We had our last show on May 12th. So it just gives me time to take a break from this program, work on some things, and have a better show next time. So basically, it's sometimes I have to take that break from my show and work on some things, get new ideas to make the show more interesting. And sometimes it's just like I said, some shows get neglected because I work in too hard on other programs. and I don't work hard enough on one program. So it's a matter of paying attention. So what I did was I kind of deleted a lot of shows that I felt we were doing too many programs. So I kind of eliminated some, and as you will notice, I have been working on a new schedule called the GJRB Summer Sporadic Schedule. Now, it just started about a week ago, and I've been working on it. It's been in the making. I had to work on a lot of things to make the show interesting. I had to fix things so that I'm more prepped. So I did take this show off the air temporarily, just for a while, because I needed to fix things in my schedule. I needed to work on a better program approach. So that's pretty much what it was. But this schedule is the new permanent schedule, and I'll be making some frequent schedule updates from it, which I put on a little on my calendars and posted on the wall. This way my wife knows when our shows are on the air, and it gives everybody else the idea of what we're doing. And sometimes some programs have to be rescheduled or altered, and I'll be mentioning one in particular, and that's going to be the jazz program on Friday. And possibility we're going to do our smooth jazz on Friday, but it could be on a delay for a little bit. We're going to probably have to do it Friday night. Under that, remember we used to do a thing called Smooth Evening, where we play jazz in the evening. I'm thinking about bringing that show back permanently under our new permanent GJRB sporadic schedule, because I like this idea. An evening of jazz, smooth jazz, on Friday night, followed by an evening of the best of jazz Saturday night. So I'm thinking that's going to work pretty good, and I'm really going to work on this as an idea. I think this is a neat idea. So bear with me on this. It's going to be what I call the best of jazz on Saturday, jazz weekend, the best of jazz on Saturday night, but we'll do smooth evening on Friday night. So there's a change in this now, and I think we should make this a change anyway. It's up in the air right now at this point of whether or not we're going to be live on Friday afternoon or not. But I will be posting information on the GJRB Spreaker public site, on GJRB Online's YouTube channel. I'll post over on Google Plus, and I will post over on the on all my social sites, so that everybody knows whether or not we're going to be on the air Friday night or not, Friday afternoon or not, or is it we're going to be Friday night. So that right now remains on the question list. So just it's teetering on being a nighttime program at this point. But like I said before, it's subject to change at the last minute. So anyway, I hope you're all, all this stuff now. This sporadic schedule is just, it's going to leave room for any important family activities. Important family. I might have to babysit this week with my wife and I will have to. So it's a matter of so that I can alter my schedule accordingly and let everybody know exactly what's going to be on the air and what's not, what time it's going to be on the air. Is it going to be in the evening or in the afternoon? So, like I said before, if you follow me here on Spreaker, on Google+, on Twitter, on Facebook, you'll get the information either way when we will be on the air. So, just to let you know about that. That's how we're going to work things. All right, well, I'll tell you what we're going to do right now. I'll talk a little bit about what's going on in the news since we've been off the air all that time. It's just been a lot of stuff going on. Interesting stuff. First of all, I'll let you know that my interview with Samuel Day went pretty good. I want to thank him once again for his time in this interview. It was a good one, and I'll be playing clips of this interview later on in the show. It's going to be for a brand new podcast called Artist Showcase. in which I showcase artists that have aired on GJRB. So if your song has been playing on GJRB, get in touch with me for a possible interview. I'd like to talk to you. If you want to be on our program, I'd love to hear from you. It's called Artist Showcase. And I'll interview artists in all the genres I play. Smooth jazz. I'll interview artists who are in the Christian rock. Artists that I play generally on Gary J in the afternoon. And it'll be a great show. And if you want to be part of that, just give me a line, GaryJ65@yahoo.com or GaryJ021361@gmail.com, and we'll make arrangements for a recorded interview segment right here for GJRB. Otherwise, interesting stuff going on while we were off the air. More like bombings in London. And you know what they're saying now? I saw this just before I went on the air. They're saying that CNN staged a lot of these bombings. Although I don't see what their purpose is in this. But they're saying that. They're saying that CNN, for a certain term, staged bombings. It's just kind of a problem with this. I mean, really, folks. I mean, do you think that is the truth? There's no proof of this. And when you accuse something or someone of this, they need proof. And if there's no proof, they have nothing to stand on this. So, I mean, they could accuse CNN of doing this. That's, they could stage things just for their camera. I believe it. I mean, ratings, numbers, whatever the case, stage to get audience, whatever. I mean, they could do that. But, I don't know. You'd have to prove that one. Because I have a problem with that. Don't know, but, I just have my doubts on this one. So, let's see. Whatever. Oh, yeah, and, of course, the big news is when we were off the air was, of course, Kathy Griffin, which I believe is getting a little redundant. I mean, really, by the time we got on this show and by the time that happened, a lot of that is really not relative anymore. But I've got to tell you something. Just in my own personal opinion, and that she put her flag up the pole when she did that. And Barron Trump, I mean, you got to think about this, folks. If you were a kid about, how old was he, 11, 12 years old? If you were 12 years old, 11, 12 years old, and you saw your dad's head pulled up, even if it wasn't real, even if it was a joke, by this so-called comedian, it would traumatize you too. Not just him, but other kids. I mean, it was uncalled for. And she realized what she did, and she apologized for it. But, quite frankly, she's hiding out, I believe, because she's not in the news anymore. She hasn't been in the news for some time now. She hasn't talked about it. She hasn't really talked about it. I mean, it hasn't been anything on it anymore. So it's really not relative, but we will talk about it if you want to on this program today. Hey, we also have weather on the fives, weather in the news, and all that good stuff. So stay with me. This is the Gary Russen program on GJRB. Yeah, I like the rhyme, don't you?
If you're searching for and want your songs out there, the place to go is Reverb Nation. Reverb Nation, website totally devoted to new music from new artists from every town and every state in the U.S. If you're a solo artist and recording your own music, it's Reverb Nation. Stop on by, visit, listen to the music, check out the site, www.reverbnation.com. Put your music out there and gain an audience. Go to Reverb Nation for the best in new music. And remember, if you like your songs played on GJRB Online is up and coming, drop me an email at GaryJ65@yahoo.com. And I'll be playing your song on all GJRB online shows. Remember the name, Reverb Nation.
That sound more like everyone else than anyone else.
Hey, all right, it's Kip Casper.
the website which turns anyone into a radio DJ. Log on to Spreaker.com for listening to thousands of radio channels and start creating your own radio today.
Suicide's increasing among the youth, and many of them playing suicide games. This has to stop. Parents, watch your kids, and if you feel there's something going on and they are considering suicide, please talk to them, help them. And if it seems hopeless, call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. That number is 1-800-273-8255. They can help. It's free and confidential. Your call will be answered by a trained counselor in a local crisis center. The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline can help. End times are upon us, and we need to know what's happening. Knowing the truth is key to survival. There are lots of news events going on in the world that have certain significance to end time happenings. Listen, as men and women gather to discuss the news and how it lines up with Bible prophecy on the last 7 days. Uploaded as a podcast Wednesdays and run live every third Friday at 12 o'clock noon Central on GJRB.
This is Michael J. Martin, and you're listening to the Gary Russen program on GJRB Online.
And we're back. The Gary Russen program on GJRB Online on Spreaker across America. Glad you could be with me today. And we're going to have a great time doing this great talk radio again today. We haven't done this in a long time, and I miss when the Gary Russen program's absent for a while, like it has been for a full month. I miss it. I really do. I miss doing it because I like talking to you folks, and I really miss being able to connect with you and what's going on in the world and the news. And this is GJRB's original news talk program, the Gary Russen program on GJRB Online, and we'll be talking a lot about what you want to talk about. And I want to send regards out to Rachel Ozzie Jarvis over in Cocoa, Oregon. She has no internet. So she's been off the air, and we are so sorry about that. But if you want to call a program, it's area code 563-613-4260. Or if you're on the internet and you happen to be visiting a friend's house, do that. David Baker says, "Hi, David. How you doing today? Glad you could join us today at the Gary Russen program on GJRB Online. We're talking about a lot of stuff, including Bernie Sanders, who says that Christians are hateful. And we're going to talk about that and what you want to talk about right here on GJRB Online. But right now, though, we're going to do weather on the 5. Well, before we do weather on the 5s, we have some interesting weather in the news. Yeah, where we do weather in the news, and some interesting news story here regarding our weather. In St. Paul, Minnesota, they had some really bad weather, damaging winds, hail. They've been really getting it up there, up in Minnesota. A line of severe thunderstorms moved through Minnesota yesterday morning, causing some gusty winds at tops of about 80 miles per hour with some large hail. Yeah, this is a storm right now. Listen to that. Wow. Yeah, in Minnesota. And, wow, I mean, people out there listening up in Minnesota, yeah, I hope things get better for you. That's terrible. I hope that didn't get too much storm damage there. I guess the storm did some extensive damage, 80 mile per hour wind, so that'll do stuff. And wow. Oh, by the way, I want to say big congratulations to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Yeah, they won it again, folks. Yep. Well, yeah, they won it again. Yeah, they won the Stanley Cup for the second year in a row. Great job, guys. Another great. I thought that they were going to get that. That was surprising. I mean, this 2 years. Last year they won, and then this year they won. I mean, they are a tremendous team here for hockey. And like I said last year, and I said it this year, and I said it last year, and I was going to follow hockey. I just haven't got around to it. Usually I would make sure that I follow hockey, but I haven't lately. So I'm going to have to start getting into the... I really have not followed hockey at all. And so I'm going to have to do that. Follow hockey. Because I don't understand the game that much. But... I'm going to do some research on hockey and how it's played, and I'm going to follow hockey next year because they were tremendous. It's a fast game. It is a very fast game. So congratulations to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Severe thunderstorms and tornadoes, very large hail and damaging winds, and heavy rain are possible now today throughout the northern Rockies and north central plains. And to the upper Great Lakes, the greatest risk to severe storms include some strong tornadoes potentially expected over the northwestern central plains. This will be locally heavy rain, which may cause some flash flooding in the east. Conditions are hot and humid, and that is no joke. We are into a lot of heat. We'll give you all the weather this afternoon right here on GJRB. Be right back.
To discuss the news and how it lines up with Bible prophecy in this world of chaos and upheaval. This is the program that puts it all into perspective. How will we survive? God only knows. So trust Him and listen to the last 7 days.
Uploaded as a podcast or live every third Friday at 12 o'clock noon Central on GJRB. We all run a busy schedule, and maybe we don't have time to catch the Gary Russen program. Well, here's the solution. The best of the Gary Russen program, highlighting the most memorable parts of recent shows. Each podcast I will play clips of previous shows and talk about them. Watch for podcast uploads during the GJRB's podcast weekend on GJRB's public site on Spreaker. Reflecting on the past memories of past shows. The best of the Gary Russen program on GJRB.
That sound more like everyone else than anyone else.
Hey, all right, it's Kip Casper.
Spreaker is the website which turns anyone into a radio DJ. Log on to Spreaker.com for listening to thousands of radio channels and start creating your own radio today.
The mainstream media is not telling you the truth. They have their own agenda. At GJRB, I have mine, telling you what's really going on with sources like End Time Headlines, InfoWars, Coast to Coast AM, and most importantly, CBN News, keeping you on top of what's happening at the top and bottom of each hour during the Gary Russen program. I'll give you the news and analysis of what I think with Gary J's News and Comment. Get the real news. True news. News that's not in the mainstream. On GJRB.
And you're listening to the Gary Russen program on GJRB online on Spreaker across America and around the world. Coming up in the next half hour, we'll invite you to get in on the act. They'll be part of the show. And coming up later on, I'll play you that interview. My interview with Samuel Day, great Christian rock artist, coming up. So stay with me. And a whole lot more. We got a great show. And we're going to talk about the loss of Batman, too. Got to talk about that, definitely. Great surprise loss. All coming up next as we continue the Gary Russen program on GJRB. the GJRB News Desk. I'm Gary J. Russen. Here's the stories we're covering for you. A Michigan man has been arrested for aiding a terrorist group, Hezbollah, and training in explosives. He was raided by the FBI. He's 37-year-old Selmar El-Devet. He's at Hezbollah payroll for 10 years, and he's an expert in bomb making and technical knowledge in explosives. Bernie Sanders' stand on religion and Christians outraged over this, firing at a Wheaton College person for saying that we worship the same God. Blasting Russell Rhodes and stand concern on Islam, Sanders says the traditional Christian beliefs are indefensible and insulting. These stories coming up.
On Gary J's Sports page. I'll talk about what's going on in the world of sports all over the USA. We'll read you interesting articles about the players and even keep up with the scores of the games going on live. I'll even have guests from time to time and just talk sports. Better than any newspaper page, it comes alive. Gary J's Sports page, alternating Saturdays at 2 o'clock Central on GJRB Online.
Imagine one day tuning around on your internet radio only to find a station playing old radio programs complete with commercials and thinking, what am I tuning into? The past? You might be, or it's just GJRB Online and Radioland. A day of nothing but classic radio shows back to back with classic commercials in between. Like the days of radio. Almost like your computer is picking up signals through time. Closer than you'll ever get to time travel. Radioland.
If you're a new emerging artist and want your songs out there, the place to go is Reverb Nation. Reverb Nation, a website totally devoted to new music from new artists from every town and every state in the U.S. If you're a solo artist and recording your own music, it's Reverb Nation. Stop on by, visit, listen to the music. Check out the site, www.reverbnation.com. Put your music out there and gain an audience. Go to Reverb Nation for the best in new music. And remember, if you like your songs played on GJRB Online's Up and Coming, drop me an email at GaryJ65@yahoo.com. And I'll be playing your song on all GJRB Online shows. Remember the name, Reverb Nation.
Attention men under the age of 35. You know what really impresses the ladies? When a guy has a few drinks and later gets pulled over for buzz driving. That could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. There goes let's grab dinner and a movie. Oh, I know. You drive more carefully when you're buzzed. You've proven that hundreds of times. A woman admires that kind of confidence. And you've practiced how to speak if a cop does pull you over. Slowly, clearly, and politely like, "Good evening, officer." A woman admires that kind of foresight. And what woman doesn't find it adorable that you call it buzzed even though the law calls it drunk? You could kiss $10,000 goodbye, along with any chance of having a girlfriend. Because nothing says I'm a catch more than a guy who lives in his parents' basement and calls it my place.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Website which turns anyone into a radio DJ. Log on to Spreaker.com for listening to thousands of radio channels and start creating your own radio today.
End times are upon us, and we need to know what's happening. Knowing the truth is key to survival. There are lots of news events going on in the world that have certain significance to end time happenings. Listen, as men and women gather to discuss the news and how it lines up with Bible prophecy on the last 7 days. Uploaded as a podcast Wednesdays and run live every third Friday at 12 o'clock noon Central on GJRB. Yes, we back. Welcome back to the Gary Russen program here on GJRB. And glad you could be with us today. We've got a lot of good stuff coming up and a lot of great talk too, so I hope you'll stay with me. And if you want to talk about anything we're talking about here on GJRB Online, you're welcome to do so. And there's ways of doing that, you know. Got a lot of them. We got one way, which I want to say hi and say hi once again to David Baker. And great to talk to you again. And been promoting your Rewind show. You know, David, I'm telling you right now, you've got the best oldie show in the Quad Cities. I mean, you are. I mean, I think you're the only one that has great oldies in the Quad Cities. So keep it up. And you know, you're the tops, man. Got a great radio station. Stay. You know, I'd love to sometime come to. I got rid of the GMC I have. It was down, but if I ever get this car up to a point where I could drive it to the Quad Cities, I would love to do Rewind with you. I really would. I think that'd be a hoot. It really would. I love it. But you can be part of the show by getting into the chat room and talking with me while we're on the air, or you can call me on the GJRB cell. Yeah, that's that simple. It's area code 563-613-4260, and you can get on the air with me and talk, and also do what my friend out of Oregon did. She contacted me in the chat room. She also talked to me live one day on this show on the on my Facebook Messenger live. So David, by the way, I did learn how to do that. I noticed the little thing with the go live on Facebook, but I want to do that. I'm thinking about doing that sometime, like you do when you do the oldie show, the Rewind. I want to do like you do. I'm going to try to do a live feed while I'm on the air sometime. I might do that. I don't know yet. Plan on doing it. Don't know when, but I'm going to play with the idea. And I'm also doing a live feed of the Gary Russen program coming soon. As a matter of fact, on June 26th. June 26th. We're going to be live. It's a live feed on YouTube. I'm going to be doing a YouTube show. And the Gary Russen program is going to go to YouTube on that day, and we're going to do a live feed. It's going to be great. I'm going to have some interesting videos and pictures and stuff like that. It's going to be a fun show, so I hope you'll tune in for that. It's 2 o'clock Central, live, June 26th on GJRB TV's YouTube channel, so subscribe today. And I got to make a new commercial for that. My YouTube channel, I've had a commercial going on, I think, like forever, and it seems like I kind of, no, let's put it this way, lost for words here. I don't know. It's this thing I got. It's called XSplit. I have downloaded to the computer, and it's a video, and it's able to make a person go live on YouTube and play videos and stuff like that, kind of like a little miniature television station. And I'm practicing with it, but right now it's kind of an oddball thing. It needs a lot of work. I don't know. I'm going to be working on some of this stuff. It takes some time, but I'm working on it. And coming up later on, I'm going to have an interview. David Baker. I know you got Christian rock. I don't know if you get into Christian rock, but that's one of the main formats of the station. And one of the artists I have a great interview with him. His name is Samuel Day. Great Christian artist. He comes out of Cincinnati, Ohio. Another program director friend of mine, our talk radio personality there. I know him through some other friends here in Clinton. His name is Jamie Carper. And the radio station down there is called Silent Witness Radio. And I found him. This guy is a fabulous Christian artist. We've been playing a song of his called The Roses. And it is a tremendous song. And it's just fabulous. I mean, the song itself is great, and he's a new Christian artist, and I'm gonna play the interview with him coming up later on today here on GJRB. So you want to tune in for that. He really is a tremendous artist, and I'm interviewing him for a new show, a new podcast I got coming on. It's called Artist Showcase. I showcase all the artists I play here on GJRB. And he's one of the first ones. The next one I got planned out is another friend of mine here in Clinton. His name is Brian Harrison, and we're going to have him on a future showcase talking about his music. And he's another tremendous Christian rock artist, and we're going to be interviewing him coming up. He's been writing songs since he was very, very young, and he's got some good ones. So. Yeah, so that's great. All right, tell you what we're going to do, though. Along with that, we're going to talk about the sad tidings. This broke before I did Crooners on Saturday. Saturday after, I think it was like Friday night or Saturday, when we lost Adam West, who played Batman. And sad to, that was a shock. It really was. I didn't think... But they said that he was 88, he had leukemia, and it must have got really, really bad. And anybody who remembers the original Batman show, like I do, of course, you know, it was a big competition back in the day, I guess back in when did that go on the air, 65? Yeah, I think so. Anyway, that same year, they were on opposite Lost in Space. Lost in Space was an hour. Batman was a half hour. So I guess there was a big battle between Lost in Space and Batman a long, long time ago. ABC had Batman. CBS had Lost in Space. And they were competing for like about 30 minutes. Wonder what the ratings were like on that. Oh, I'd love to see the ratings book on that. But anyway, you got to wonder who won that half hour. I bet you it was Batman. No doubt. Anyway, we'll talk about that. Yeah, and we were watching, my wife and I were watching a video the other day, and it was pretty cool, actually. And we'll talk about that. It's we were watching a Donnie and Marie Osmond show, and they had Batman and Robin, and Robin really got chunky. Wow. Jeez. We're going to talk about that all coming up. So we're going to have a great time this afternoon. We're just going to go free form all afternoon here, and we're going to just open up the lines. And we're going to see if there's anybody out there who wants to call the program, because we got a lot coming up. And I'm going to play you that piece, and we're going to really have a good afternoon here. So I hope you'll stay with me, the Gary Russen program here on GJRB Online, here on Spreaker, wherever you're listening across America. We'll be right back. More of the Gary Russen program is coming up next on GJRB.
Imagine one day chit-chatting around on internet radio, only to find a station playing old radio programs, complete with commercials, and thinking, what am I tuning into? The past? You might be, or it's just GJRB Online and Radioland. A day of nothing but classic radio shows, back-to-back with classic commercials in between. Like the days of radio. Almost like your computer is picking up signals through time. Closer than you'll ever get to time travel. Radioland.
It was the year World War II ended, and the troops came home, and the music was fabulous, with big hits from Perry Como, Judy Garland, and the Andrews Sisters. The year was 1945. Listen to the year in music on the next Swing Time. I'm Gary Russen, and I'll be featuring the biggest hits from that year, along with trivial information about the prices of items such as groceries, the news events, the culture of 1945 on the next Swing Time.
End times are upon us.